That's what it feels like to me a lot. I think of my life as an orchestra. And there is that moment before the concert when the concert master asks the oboist to sound an A. At first there's just noise, chaos, as all the parts of the orchestra try to align themselves with just that note. As each instrument moves closer and closer to it, the noise diminishes. And when they all finally sound it together, there's a moment of rest, of homecoming. Could you do that again, Joe? It feels to me like I'm always bringing the orchestra of my life into tune, getting the right pitch. Jesus is sounding the note in this gospel tonight, and I struggle daily to hear it and to tune my life to it. And the note is this: relationships mean nothing. Relationships mean nothing if they are not right. This is a clear call, this note Jesus is sounding, a clear call to being in right relationship, to the right ordering of relationships, to making sure that all of our relationships, without any exception, all of them, even with the stranger, are in tune. Jesus is clear here about two very important things about this right ordering. First, he says, we cannot treat people as objects. We cannot treat people as objects, therefore it is never right to use another human being. And we cannot treat people as gods and therefore worship them. If we treat anyone, our children, our spouses, our parents, our friends, a stranger, as if they are either our possessions to be used or as gods, it will not be possible to follow Christ, nor will it be possible to love them. We will either strangle them by clinging to them as if they were our property, or crush them with the impossible burden of saving us, of making us happy. The words of Jesus in this gospel tonight are jarring, to say the least. Unless you hate, he said, your mother and father and brothers and sisters, your friends, everybody, including yourself and your own life. Hate, he said. Jarring. But what he means by this word is clear. What he's saying is you can't prefer anybody, anything, to me. Of course he wants us to love others. No doubt about that. But as followers of his way, we can never not respect other people, no matter who they are, no matter. Respect. I just this past week spent some time with a young man in a relationship of several years. Things are falling apart. It's been awful, actually, awful. And his words to me were, I just don't feel respected in this relationship anymore. That's trouble. In the second reading, it's one of the shortest books in the whole Bible. It's Paul's letter to Philemon. Philemon was a slave owner. And in this letter to Philemon, the slave owner, Paul addresses this issue, and he addresses it clearly. Paul had met this escaped slave who belonged to Philemon. He had met him in prison. And for Paul, while he was there, he got to know this man. And as he got to know him, something filled out about him for Paul. It wasn't just he was a one-dimensional person anymore for Paul. He wasn't just this slave. So as he got to know him, he loved him. He loved him dearly, he said. He even used the words, I send you back my heart with him, Philemon. And he's not just a slave anymore. I know it's legal, Philemon, for you to have him as a slave, but he's not just that anymore. He's more than that, you know. He's a beloved brother now. Saying to Philemon and to all of us, we can never treat others as objects. It's never right to pray for each other on Sunday and pray on each other the rest of the week, even for the sake of success. That we got to learn how to respect all people, all human beings, no matter what. That's what marked this new way Jesus was introducing to the world. And respect comes down to just that. Recognizing a person is more than just one dimension to us anymore, ever again. That they're not just our servants. They're not just somebody who serves you food up in there in those fancy dining rooms. They're not just somebody who waits on you and cleans your bathroom or your clerk at the store. They're not just a porn star or a random hookup you had the other night. They're just more to them than that, you see. What Jesus' way means is, stop that. Don't let anybody in your life be one-dimensional and think it's okay to use them. Ever. Stop it, he says. Stop it right now. Stop it. Just stop it. And he says, stop treating anybody in your life like a god. Don't give anybody that much power. Anybody. Don't let anybody have a place of importance that's too high for even them. Another human being can never be more important than what is right and good and true and free. Nobody. Could you sound that A again, Joe? The oboe plays the A. And the call of Jesus is to come in tune now. Tell me, do you prefer your mom and dad over Jesus? Sounds like a dumb question, doesn't it? Some of us might say, well, of course not. That'd be the right answer. So we have to say that. But really, when push comes to shove, I'm not sure Jesus matters nearly as much as my mama. But I can still remember back when I was in grade school, 4th grade, 5th grade, and 6th grade. The pastor would come into our classroom once a week to teach religion. And he said to us, the commandment is this: honor your father and your mother. That's a commandment. But he said, let me tell you this. If they ask you to do anything wrong, if they ask you to do anything that's not right, don't do it. And if they relate to you in ways that are toxic and binding and create dependencies and where they become for you like these, what they call now helicopter moms and dads, in a way that oppresses you and keeps you from being free and free to be yourself, stop it. Right there. Stop them. You are not obliged to obey, he says. Tell me, do you prefer your girlfriend or boyfriend over Jesus? Might sound dumb, right? But what are we willing to sell out to keep him or her around? Would we rather have a boyfriend or a girlfriend even at the price of not being able to be ourselves anymore, of losing ourselves? Tell me, do you prefer children over Jesus, you who are parents? It might sound like a dumb question, but if you're living through your kids, if you're dependent on your kids, if your self-worth and your self-esteem comes from your kids, then stop it. It's not right. Love for the Lord does not exclude other loves, but love for the Lord does order every love rightly. And to love Jesus is to love his way of being in relationship, his way, a way marked by self-emptying, self-giving love. That's what it means to love Jesus over more than anything. It's to be his way together. We get so out of tune if we worry about what others think, so much so that we can't be ourselves anymore. We get so out of tune if we can't tell the truth to somebody, speak a challenging word to somebody, or let somebody challenge us just because we're afraid of anger. We're so out of tune if we sell out our values just to be accepted. And when we go to bed at night, it can't be that we feel good about ourselves because we have friends. It's got to be about right friends. Friends that we're in right relationship with. It's not just about any relationship. It's about healthy relationship, being healthy together. That's what we can go to sleep and sleep well with that dream. I asked you at the beginning of this Mass if you prefer heaven or hell. People would quickly say, heaven. But I'm here to tell you that the way we live, heaven isn't just about what happens after we die. And this is so true of our Catholic faith. It's about right here and right now, all the time. And I think we keep choosing hell. And we know it's hell, and we keep doing it. It is hell to not be in right relationship. So often we choose hell. And it is a living hell to feel so possessive that we're so jealous that we just go turn things over and over in our mind, worried, all the time worried we're going to lose him, that somebody else is in her arms. And it is a living hell to be in abusive, controlling relationships, even if you're the one who is controlling. It is a living hell to use people. We need to tune ourselves and our relationships to a higher power. This is really important. The bottom line can't be for us family harmony, it can't be popularity, and it can't be security. The bottom line has to be self-emptying with you, self-giving with you, and that is our fulfillment. That is heaven now. Heaven now. Joe, can you hit that note again? Jesus is sounding the note tonight, my friends. He's sounding the note, and he sounds it with these jolting, jarring words. But I got to tell you, he sounds it with his whole life. Jesus does not require anything of his followers that he did not live himself. Ever. There are communities and there are people in our lives that make it really hard to hear that note. Some help us hear it, and hear it clearly. I hope to God that the Catholic Student Center can be for you a community of people that help you attune your life and your relationships to His way. And I hope with all my heart that this Mass and every Mass you celebrate anywhere can be one of those places that help you fine-tune all your loves to the way He loved. It's really our choice whether or not we want to bring all of our relationships, even to the stranger, into alignment with how He did it, how He invites us to do it now. If you try to do it, it will be cacophonous and noisy sometimes, as you struggle to get things in the right order. It's never easy. But it is only when our lives are tuned to His note that instead of discord and possessiveness, bitterness and fear and hidden agendas, I can make something beautiful of my life for the world.